There ain't no other for me, it's only you. I wanna be down with what you're going through. I wanna be down. I wanna be down with you.
Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Derica and you are watching Shelf Love with D. Welcome back to another weekly wrap up of my reads and streams. So y'all already know, before we get into this wrap up, let's go ahead and take attendance. Please be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. Always subscribe if you can see yourself coming back another video, hanging out with me. Otherwise, drop your favorite emoji, a green heart, book stack, anything just letting me know that you were here with me today, rocking with me in yet another video. All right, now the business is handled. Let's go ahead, y'all, and jump into this wrap up. All right, y'all, so I had a pretty decent week of reading. I did not get as much in as I wanted to because one of the books I read was a little on the thick sides. So I just took my time with that one, enjoyed reading it and just watched and seeing how everything unfolded, and just enjoyed being in that world. So that book pretty much took up most of my week, and then I finished one up this morning. So let's get right into this wrap up. So the first book that I will go ahead and talk to you guys about is the one that's freshest on my mind, being that I just finished it, and that is The Bright Years. Now this book was a little different. I went in kind of blindly into this book, not really knowing what to expect, and kind of just picked it based off the title and just pure curiosity. All right, so if you are not familiar with this book, it says that one family, 4 generations, a secret son, a devastating addiction. A Texas family is met with losses and surprises of inheritance, but they're unable to shake the pull back toward each other in this big-hearted family saga, perfect for readers of Mary Beth Keane and Claire Lombardo. I don't know who either of those authors are, but carry on. Ryan and Lillian Bright are deeply in love, recently married, and now parents to a baby girl named Georgette, aka Jet, and I love the nickname that they gave her. But Lillian has a son she hasn't told Ryan about, and Ryan has an alcohol addiction he hasn't told Lillian about. So Georgette comes out of age watching their marriage rise and fall when a shocking blow scatters their fragile trio. Georgette tries to distance herself from reminders of her parents. Years later, Lillian's son comes searching for his birth family, so Georgette must return to her roots, unearth her family's history, and decide whether she can open up to love for them or herself while there's still time. All right, so let's start by summing up a few things. This book starts in the 1950s and kind of journals all the years of Georgette growing up, how her mom navigates being a single married woman, her dad's addiction, and just kind of things that happen in their family as the years go on, and how each generation is affected by generations before them. Now, cool, fine, and dandy. This is very much so a contemporary fiction, and it is basically, I would say, like a diary entry or diary entries from each person's perspective. So for a bit we see Lillian, which is the mom. We see her navigate leaving an abusive relationship and finding new love, trusting her judgment to, fall in love with this person, and then the changes they go through with being married, and then her having this kid from, when she was younger that she's kind of afraid to tell her husband about because she doesn't know how he'll receive that. And then we get the husband's perspective as he is, juggling alcoholism, and how it appears that he kind of changes out of nowhere and no longer wants this family. But then we find out why that is later on. So it's just kind of, So I will say it is a good story. But I did read Aaliyah's comment or review, and I agree with her. I can't say if I enjoyed this book. I didn't hate it. It was just an okay read. It was more so like if someone sat you down and said, tell me your story. Tell me, how you came about, or, tell me about your parents. I wouldn't read this book again, and it would not be one that I recommend. So if you asked me, should I read this book? Or if you say, what books should I read? I'm trying to get into reading. I wouldn't recommend this book. It's not a bad story. It's just not one that you have to read. It's not one that I feel you're missing out on anything great. It is just contemporary fiction. Like I said, journal entries of someone's life and their day-to-day things, and how they have to come to terms with things and how those things affect you, and you have to make a decision if you're going to forgive and let go, and find it in your heart to love again, and accept things as they are. There were some sad parts in this book that truly did pull on my heartstrings. I did not expect things to unfold the way that they did, or some of the things that took place I didn't expect. It was just an okay read. It was a good story, but I just can't say I had a good time with it, if that makes sense. So let's read Miss Bookmark by Aaliyah's. So she rated it 3.5 stars. She said, yeah, so I don't know what to say about this one. This one was a different writing style than I'm used to. And to be honest, I don't think I can say I truly enjoyed it. But the story, the content, the plot, awesome. Conflicting review, I know. Lillian has a secret son. Ryan is a secret alcoholic. And Georgette is caught in the middle of it, watching all the ups and downs of her parents' marriage. As an adult, Georgette learns about her parents to better understand why they were the way they were, and in turn finds much more about herself. This definitely was a heartfelt story, and I understood the mindset and thoughts of the characters. This is a story about forgiveness, hope, and love. As much as I didn't vibe with the writing at all, I still recommend it. So I agree with everything with Miss Aaliyah up until that point. I think if you so happen to stumble across this book, if it's available on Libby, if it's for 50 cents or $1, or somewhere at one of those thrift stores, and you're like, oh, I've heard of this book, I think I'll go ahead and grab it. I just don't think it's anything to, for me personally, I could have done without reading this book. I didn't really gain. Well, I would say there were some moments that caused me to even be reflective and just kind of look at parenting from a different light. But that's something also that I've done on my own since becoming a parent myself. I have a lot more grace and understanding for my own mom as a single parent. Now that I am a mother to my own kids, and I am navigating motherhood and being a wife and things like that, and just how hard it is, how much work it all takes. So yeah, I don't even know what I would rate this book. I don't even think I'm going to give it a star rating. I will just say I read the book. It is some very reflective moments and thought-provoking points in this book. I don't think it's anything that you have to run out and read right away, but put it on your TBR, and when you're looking for something to read, just pick it up and see how you enjoy it. So that's it on that one. Next book up that I read this past week was The Prada Plan 5. So me and Books with Bonnie finished up this series finally, and I'm so excited to have finally finished up The Prada Plan. This is my first series that I finished that was like more than 3 books, and as y'all know, as I've said since I started the first book, I love the series down, no matter how much of a melodramatic soap opera it is, no matter how much it is a Tubi movie, whatever you want to call it. I love it. It is entertaining. It is crazy. It is far-fetched. There's also some good nuggets in there, and I vibe with it. So yes, it will take you on a crazy roller coaster where you are screaming at these characters, getting frustrated, rolling your eyes. But for me, it is a good time. So now that I have finished the Prada Plan, I will be diving back into Ethic, which I think I'm on book 4 of Ethic. And as y'all know, Ashley Infinite is my girl. I will not hear any bad talk about her. So again, if she is not your cup of tea, go ahead and sip something else. There is plenty of other cups to sip from. All right, so there's not much that I can really say about Prada book 5, because I don't want to ruin it if you decide to jump into it. I enjoyed my time with it. Cannot wait to finish up Ethic and to see how it all comes together. Once I finish the Ethic series, I will be reading the Butterfly series, and then just diving more into Ashley Antoinette's catalog, as well as her husband, Jaquavius Coleman, I think that's his name. I have a book on my TBR by him that I would like to read. Okay, so let's see if any of our friends have left a review. I don't see any names that look familiar, but I'm only going to be reading the ones who was giving my girl her flowers, because we're not playing with nobody over here. But pretty much I'm seeing 4 and 5 stars. I don't know how do you say this name. EMQUEGEEAYE. I don't know. This totally put me in my feelings. I gave this book a 5-star rating because it was good, plain and simple. The amount of emotions that were evoked in this book just left me all over the place. I was angry, sad, happy, and shocked even had to stop reading because I was on the verge of tears. I do believe you can love multiple people simultaneously for multiple reasons, and Yaya proves that, even though it seems cloudy at times. I used to love Indy, but now I have a love-hate relationship with him. But Ethic, my lord, my love, I love that man. He is life. If I go any further, I'll tell the story, which defeats the purpose. But yes, I agree. At first, I started this series with very high hopes, or with very high regard for Indy, but that has since changed, and now he is thrown away in the trash can, and I just love Ethic down. And I'm hoping that I don't jump into the Ethic series and then my mind is completely changed about Ethic, which I doubt though, because everything I've been seeing in the bookish space, they love Ethic. Let's see, Bookish Baddie says, baby, why the F am I in tears? I am currently in a readathon, but please understand, review to come. Okay, so let's see here. Pluv says, Ethic, 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 Ethic. Oh my gosh, this book had me on an emotional roller coaster. I cried, smiled, and cried again. Such an amazing story. This message in this book was so deep and thought out. I really felt it. So as y'all can see, the Ethic series, or the Prada Plan series, does wrap up pretty nicely. I recommend this series. Now, I do try to stress to you guys that it is very much so a to-be movie. It is very much so dramatic. You have to do a lot of expanding your imagination and your belief. Just go into it with a good time. It is an urban fiction with all the drama, all the twists and turns, and if that is your thing, definitely jump into the Prada Plan, and I promise you, you will be entertained. Books 1 through 5. All right, so the next book up that I read, let's see, what was it? Oh, yeah, so the next book up that I read was The Invisible Life The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I am rating this book, y'all, 5 stars. I enjoyed my time with this book. I was intimidated about starting this book initially because it's a little on the thick side. It's a little bit outside of the type of books I normally read, but the title intrigued me from the beginning. The book description intrigued me from the beginning. So I'm like, I'm going to put this on my TBR and I will get to it eventually. Then I saw my girl Bookmark by Aaliyah had read it and further pushed me to be like, okay, I got to check this out for myself. And I'm so glad that I did, y'all. This one was so good. Let's see, if you're not familiar with it, I'll go ahead and read the book description. It says, a life no one will remember, a story you will never forget. France, 1714. In a moment of desperation, a young woman makes a bargain to live forever and is cursed to be forgotten by everyone she meets. Thus begins the extraordinary life of Addie LaRue, and a dazzling adventure that will play out across centuries and continents, across history and art, as a young woman learns how far she will leave her mark. As a young woman learns how far she will go to leave her mark on the world. But everything changes when, after nearly 300 years, Addie stumbles across a young man in a hidden bookstore and he remembers her name. And even reading just that book description just makes me smile, because I remember the moment that he was like, I remember you, and just how that must have felt for her to y'all, this book was so good. As y'all can see from the book description, it's about a girl who makes a bargain. Is that what it says? Yes, makes a bargain to live forever. But the catch is everyone will forget about her. That as soon as they turn their back, go into another room, close the door, whatever, they forget about her. And so she starts it all over again. She wanted freedom. She thought that by asking this, that she would live the life, that she would be given the life that she dreamed of, would just to be free to do and go as she pleased and be who she wants to be, marry who she wants to marry. But the catch is that, okay, well, you're forgettable to everyone. You're not attached to anyone. So you do have freedom, but then is that really truly what you want? You know, we all want to be connected to people. We all want to feel special to somebody. I just think at the time, with her young mind, all she could think of is that I don't want to do what they're trying to make me do, so give me freedom. And she got her freedom. But I loved reading the story and how she had to navigate through that, and how she had to, you know, learn new skills to be able to get through this life, because she might pay for a room for the night, and then a couple hours later they're trying to give the room to somebody else. You know, they're coming in there, unlocking the door, and they're like, what are you doing? She's like, I paid for this room. And they're like, no, get out, because they have no memory of her. So imagine 300 years of that. Imagine, like, you wouldn't be able to get a job. You wouldn't be able to have a relationship or friends, because as soon as they're gone or you're gone, or you just have to go to the bathroom. When you come back, they have forgotten you. Y'all, this story was so good, and I did not anticipating loving this book down the way that I did. Like, to this day, I still wake up and think about this book. I go throughout my day and Miss Addie LaRue pops into my head. There's so many good nuggets in this book. So many good nuggets. Like, so many things that were thought-provoking and really had me even just changing my perspective of some things and just being more grateful. Like, no, I can't control every aspect of my life, and sometimes I wish it went this direction instead of that direction. But having people who care about me, and having friendships, and having a husband, and having children, and just being able to live life and leave a mark, you know, those are things that before I may have not even thought much about. But outside of like being married, I know that that's a blessing. Having children, I know that that's a blessing. But also just being remembered, also having people who look forward to seeing you and talking to you and just being in your presence. Like, this book was just so good. A couple of the things that I highlighted, let's see, were like, one of the quotes were, stories are a way to preserve one's life, to be remembered and to forget. Another one was, books she has found are a way to live 1,000 lives or to find strength in a very long one. Another one was, blink and half your life is gone. Another one was, Sam reaches out and touches one of the freckles on Addie's right cheek, the way she did the first time they met. A gesture so simple and still so intimate. You have stars. Which I thought was so cute that they called freckles stars. I'm like, I've never heard it put that way before. And if you think about it, it is like a constellation across your cheek and your nose. And I just thought that was so cute. But let's see, it says, they say people are like snowflakes, each one unique, but I think they're more like skies. Some are cloudy, some are stormy, some are clear, but no two are ever quite the same. Love it down. And then small places make for small lives, and some people are fine with that. They like knowing where to put their feet. But if you only walk in other people's steps, you cannot make your own way. You cannot leave a mark. So even with that, just, you know, being who you are, like walking down your own path and allowing that to be enough. Like, someone else's path may look glittery and shiny, or, you know, this path over here may look like fast money, or look like they live it up and have a great time every day, all day. But your path is good enough. Your path is meant for you, and we need you to be you so that we can experience you, because there's already a me, there's another, you know, there's already another this person, that person, but there's only one you. So your path, your mark is important, because the world needs you, right? We all are our individual selves. We all have our own personalities. Even if we have similarities, we're all different. And so be you and walk your own path and leave your own mark, you know. But this book was very thought-provoking, very reflective. Like I said, just so many things as she was learning and growing, and, you know, realizing some things that really mattered. It had me at the same time taking a moment to like, dang, maybe I need to do this differently, or think about this differently, or see it another way, or just be grateful for life in general, be more grateful to live my life, you know, and like I said, be connected to others, and to be the person that puts smiles on people's faces, you know. So I love it down. I highly recommend this book. 6 stars. Like, I would read this again. I definitely want to read it again, and I recommend it to anyone. If you are okay with just a little bit of magical realism, it's not even too bad. Like, yes, it has a wish granted or whatever, but that's just a small part really to what the overall book is about and what you can get from reading this book. Let's see. We got anybody who's read it that we know. Okay, Miss Aaliyah, she gave it 4.5 stars. She said, I really don't even know what to say except this. It was slow, but at the same time, it wasn't after the 50% mark. The writing was beautiful and flowed so well, almost poetic. This won't be for everyone, but I thoroughly enjoyed my time with it, and Addie has left her mark on me if no one else's. I love how all the art piece descriptions made sense after a while. Yes. I was frustrated at first, like, what's the point? But when I but then I appreciated them and the originality that it gave the story. I will never look at people's freckles the same way. I might even count them to see how many they have. Like, this book was so good, y'all. And yes, I read this book immersively in the beginning because it was a little hard to get into. It is like a kind of a slow burn, and the arting is the writing is very beautiful, very poetic. So to hear the narrator read it in the way that it was supposed to be read with the right cadence, and just pausing and knowing how it should be said, really like grabbed me and hooked me into this book. So I highly recommend reading this book immersively, at least to get started, because I tried to start it a few times just on my own, and it just, I don't know, like I said, it starts back in the 1700s, so the verbiage and things were a little different, and the author's writing style is just almost too beautiful at times. So it really helped to hear the narrator reading it, and then after I probably got to like the 25% mark, I was just hooked and took off running and really enjoyed this book. So yes, it does start off a little slow, but please stick with it. It is worth your time. It is worth the read. I'm so glad I read it. Wish I would have read it sooner, and would love to read it again. So that's it, y'all. That's it for my reads for this past week. I am hoping to start. I asked y'all for y'all's help, and 2 or 3 voted for Alice Feeney, which is Sometimes I Lie. I think a couple of y'all voted for Kennedy Ryan, and then one of y'all, my girl Natasha, voted for one of the OGs, which is what is that book called? Better Than I Know Myself, I think it was. And I'm feeling all 3 of those. Like, y'all know I love my OG authors, and I feel like it's been a bit since I've read ones. I want to give some love to the OGs and keep them circulating in the book space. So I think I'm going to look to see which book out of those 3 are the shortest, and then I'll start with those. But either way, more than likely those will be the books that I read in this upcoming week. All right, so now for my streams. I did not get really anything watched this past week. That Addie LaRue book had me in a chokehold. I found myself trying to read it every chance I got. I really enjoyed that book. Like, I was just so surprised at how much I enjoyed that book. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. Even the ending was very satisfying. The ending was just a cherry on top, y'all. I think I did get one movie in, and again, I'm kind of in that nostalgic area. I'm wanting to watch grainy movies and TV shows and read 90s books and hear that verbiage. So I watched a 90s movie a couple of days ago, and it was with Nicole Kidman. So be aware, if she has her name on it, there's going to be some skin or some X-rated scenes. Even younger her, I didn't realize that. So this movie does have some X-rated scenes, but not too bad. It is called, I think it's called To Die For on Netflix, and it is like a comedy almost, but it's a thriller, dramedy. I don't know what you would call it, but she has this dream of being on television. She wants to go to Hollywood so bad. She wants to be a star, but she's starting with like weather reporting. She gets married. She has like the perfect life, white picket fence type thing, and then she starts to look at her husband like she no longer wants him. So then she like encounters this young lover who she persuades to handle some things for her, and then it just goes downhill for there. I would say it was an okay watch. It's another one that I'm like, if you don't watch it, you're not missing out on anything. But it was something new that they had added on Netflix, and I'm like, why not? I was in it, like I said, a nostalgic mood, just ready to, or just wanting to look at those old grainy TV shows and seeing the old fashioned, and that's just, I love watching old shows, old classics. It does something to me. Like, I saw favorite reader over on Instagram. She's been posting where her kids, it looks like maybe, I don't know if it's every day or whatever, but she's been having them watch like Rugrats, Hey Arnold, Recess, and I'm like, yes, put them on all those good cartoons that we used to watch. I remember watching Recess before school, heading out in the morning, and I'm always trying to put my kids on it. I mean, Angry Beavers, I had my kids watch Rugrats, Hey Arnold, Cat Dog, all those I try to put in front of them so that they can also, some of those, I know some of them were real close to being adult content, but for the most part, nice, clean kid shows. And at the same time, I get to watch it and, you know, kind of have that nostalgia bottled, filled with inside of me. But yeah, that's it, y'all. Just been chilling with the family, trying not to pull my hair out because these kids are either hungry, bored, or fighting. So just been enjoying my time with my books and my family, and stepping out with my sister, you know, just to get a breather when I need to. So that's been my past week, y'all. Thank y'all so much for hanging with me. As y'all can hear, they in there cutting up now. So let me know down in the comments if you have read any of the books I read this past week, if they're on your TBR. What are your thoughts? Let me know, especially about Addie LaRue. If you read it, what were your thoughts? What was your experience with it? Or if you're interested in reading it. But that's it, y'all. Thank y'all so much for coming back and hanging with me for yet another one of my wrap-ups. Take care of yourself. I hope you get to rest, read, relax, or do whatever your heart desires. Be safe, and until next time, don't forget to show yourself some love today.
Blessed with another chance, blessed with another chance, blessed with another chance.